Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Francis, and I'm going to show you a few different ways to make apple butter. Why apple butter has been beloved for so many years is because when you cook it down that low and that slow, and you have all that great caramelization with the apples, you really get a delicious sweet paste that goes good with almost everything. When it comes to the appliances that you can use for making apple butter, you can use the traditional stovetop method, you can use an Instapot, or you can use a slow cooker. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how to make the traditional stovetop method for making apple butter. You can use any type of apple you want for this. It'll all add different flavors and nuances to your apple butter. For me, we have a bunch of Cortland apples that we got from our neighbor, so I'm going to use those up. So basically, what you want to do is take your apples, and if you want to peel them, you can, but you don't need to. Take your apples, make sure they're washed and they're clean, and then cut out the core, so you can either chop it in half and scoop it out, or you can just slice off the four edges of the apple and then discard the core. Then take all of your apple pieces and chop them into smaller chunks and then put them aside. If you're going through a huge batch, it might be smart to sprinkle some lemon juice over the apples so they don't get too oxidized and turn brown. Then you're going to take all of your chopped apples and put them into a pot, and you're going to add in some white sugar, brown sugar, a little bit of salt, some cinnamon, some nutmeg, some allspice, some apple cider vinegar for a little bit of tartness, and then just add in a splash of water to make sure that it's all loose and that it comes together well. Then just turn your pot onto medium-high heat and stir the apples until they start to fall apart, until they get tender and they start to caramelize. This will take about maybe 30 minutes or so. Then just keep stirring the apples until they get really loose and they fall apart, and then you'll have a kind of a soup in your pot. And then once you feel that they're all really tender, then you can take an immersion blender and really puree all of that liquid in the pot. You're going to keep reducing that down until it gets thicker and thicker and thicker, and it should eventually become like the consistency of either super thick applesauce and almost like a jam or a caramel. You kind of want it in between all of those consistencies. The full process on the stove can take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. You can go as fast or as slow as you want it. You just want to make sure you kind of keep an eye on it so it doesn't ever get too brown, it doesn't burn. And there we go. That's how you make apple butter on the stovetop. If you're someone who doesn't really want to watch your apple butter or kind of baby it on the stove, you can also make it in your Instapot. So what's great about the Instapot is that it kind of gets the process moving quicker, and you can control how long you want to cook for. So basically for the Instapot, same thing. Add in your apples, your sugar, your spices, and add in your liquid of apple cider vinegar and water. Give it a stir, put the lid on, close the steaming vent, and allow the pressure cooker to come up to full temperature. Then let it cook for 7 minutes. And then after that, let the steam release naturally for 10 more minutes. Once that's all done, you can release the rest of the steam, take out the lid, and you should have the apples should be fully cooked. At this point, they really won't be too brown, but they'll definitely be super tender and really moist, and all of their liquid will have released. So this would be a perfect time to take your immersion blender and puree all of the apple sauce textured liquid inside of your Instapot. Once it's fully smooth, take out the immersion blender, put the lid back on, and you can cook it on low heat for about 4 to 5 hours. And that's going to allow it to start to caramelize and reduce and get thicker. Alright, and finally, let's talk about the slow cooker. So this is a really simple way to make your apple butter if you're for sure like out of the house or you do not want to think about it at all, because if you put your apple butter in the slow cooker, it's not going to burn, it's not going to have any problems, it's just going to take a very, very long time. So basically you have your slow cooker ready to go, add in your chopped apples, peels and all, add in your sugar, your spices, your liquids, give it a stir, put the lid on, and let it go on high for at least an hour or so. And that's how long it will take for those apples to get soft and mushy and release all of their liquid. After that first hour, you can come in with your immersion blender and blend it up. And in about 6 hours, you'll have a good, thick apple butter. And now that you have buckets and buckets of apple butter, you can use it in many different recipes in your kitchen. You can take your apple butter and put it on toast. You can put it with desserts and with pastries. You can put it on a roll, like a dinner roll. You can take your apple butter and use it as like a glaze for things like ham or pork. It's really good with certain meats. What's amazing about apple butter is you can use it for both sweet and savory things. It's delicious on almost everything. And now you know how to make it. Thank you for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe to Allrecipes. We make a ton more videos just like this that are going to be super helpful for you in your kitchen. And don't forget to press the notification bell so you don't miss any of the great videos that we do make. And down in the comments below, tell me how you would use your apple butter. What would you put it with? I'm very curious. I'm Matthew Francis, and I'll see you next time.